So I just watched Tron Ares on Disney Plus, and I really wanted to kind of talk about this and give my opinion and my review about that movie because as an 80s kid, I loved the first Tron movie. That was, I mean, also from a filmmaker's perspective in terms of filmmaking history, that movie was what's the word? It was something so new, unique, and so fresh back then from a storytelling, but also from a technology standpoint. And as a kid watching that movie, I was mind blown. And then we had Tron Legacy. Was it Tron Legacy? That was a couple of years ago with this amazing Daft Punk soundtrack. That movie, while not perfect, it wasn't like a 10 out of 10 movie, it was still extremely entertaining. And the soundtrack that Daft Punk made was, in my humble opinion, almost perfect when it comes down to movie scores, because not only did the electronic vibe fit the movie really well, but also it kind of elevated the whole experience. To be fair, the soundtrack somewhat made that movie a little bit like a music video, and that kind of vibe of it being a music video kind of took me out sometimes a little bit. Now entering Tron Ares, with, if I'm not totally mistaken, I think it was composed by the guy from Nine Inch Nails, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. So a totally different composer. Maybe it's Daft Punk again, but I don't know, but it has a totally different vibe to it. And honestly, it wasn't good. I totally was able to see where they were going with this in terms of creative direction because you can already feel it when the movie starts. I'm not going to spoil anything in terms of story, but the beginning has like an intro sequence that is very reminiscent of how James Bond movies start, and it right away gives you a specific tone where the movie is going, and it feels a little bit artistic in a way where, again, I do understand where the director and the composer wanted to go. It does feel like, okay, let's do something different. Let's not cater to the very typical action soundtrack or sci-fi soundtrack with these hard beats or hard hits and a very dynamic, progressive sound that kind of emphasizes and underlines the action that you can see. And they wanted to go in as far as I can tell, in a completely different direction and make it a little bit more artistic. And I would say if this would have been a music video, and it was all about the song and kind of going in a totally different direction what the song wants to kind of communicate, and therefore you go with a completely different visual concept, in this case action. I kind of understand what they were trying to achieve, but when you watch a movie like Tron Ares in this case, where it's about sci-fi action and fight scenes, basically, it did feel totally misplaced. So, for example, you have this really cool chase scene, but you have this track that did not fit the vibe at all, and kind of you have this really fast-paced chase scene, but the music doesn't fit at all, and then you are kind of like not in the moment. It takes you out of it, and B, it made the scene overall, yeah, boring, lacklustering, and I feel like while the visuals were good, the soundtrack took me totally out of it and made it boring. That being said, to be very fair, I was captivated by the movie. I did not grab my phone at all. I actually watched it from the beginning to the end, so that's a testament to the visuals and storytelling. But again, the music took me out of it and actually made some of the scenes worse. Those scenes were great visually. I believe if I would kind of switched off the audio track, made it mute, I would be like, wow, that's amazing. There's so much action going on, and it's visually amazing. But with the soundtrack, it felt, yeah, it took. Imagine it is kind of like, imagine driving a sports car and you have the handbrakes on all of the time. It kind of felt like that. It's really weird. So again, there is a testament to me not being kind of distracted and me not wanting to grab my phone. So the visuals and the story overall is good, but the soundtrack isn't that great. Going to some of the actors, the villain actually was okay. The main protagonist, so you have Jared Leto as Ares and another protagonist, and she was, while I did like her from an emotional standpoint, what I really didn't like in the action scenes, she didn't work that well. She wasn't able to kind of make those high intense moments work well because her acting, when she had to communicate empathy and emotions, she was good, really good. But as soon as there were high stakes and it was like action and she had to be fearful or fully full of adrenaline, it was really apparent that she was acting and she wasn't acting good. So that's not her forte. She isn't good in those scenes. And that's a shame, actually. And especially in fight scenes. She didn't fight at all. She hadn't any fight choreography, but she was in that chase scene. Then she had to run away. It didn't hit. But in all other scenes that were important, where she had to show empathy, she was really good, actually. So without spoiling anything, my verdict is visually and storytelling is good. The music takes you really out of it. So yeah, maybe prepare yourself for that. I feel like because I didn't prepare for that, it took me really out. And I guess if you know that the soundtrack isn't that good, maybe your experience watching that movie will be a little bit better because you will purely concentrate on the visuals and the story. One of the ending scenes isn't that great. It's a little bit cheesy, but that doesn't matter, to be honest. Yeah, overall, I would say it's an entertaining movie. If you don't consider the soundtrack, I would really like to know from you if you watched the last Tron movie and this one. What are your thoughts about the soundtrack of this movie? I feel a little bit let down. Let me know in the comment section below. And yeah, if you want to see a different movie review or a series review, watch the video up here. YouTube thinks they'd like the video down here. Don't forget to subscribe by clicking the button up here. I see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.